Welcome back to Ease 4 Part 3. And yeah, so when we last left off, I just bought some armor and weapons, and we are off to the mines. Now before I continue with the story, I do have to say a special thank you, triple thank you to Deuce, who I already thanked at the beginning of the Let's Play, but I do have to thank him again because he did a FAQ and also a speech translation guide, which I'm using right now for this game. And not only did he do that, he was the one that actually did the translation itself, which was later coded into the game by Nightwolf. So thanks so much, man. You opened up this game to a lot of people that didn't have the chance to enjoy it, especially someone like myself. My reading skills are pretty decent. I do have to look up a thing or two when I play a Japanese game, but listening to just speech, I'm not the best at. I could probably pick up half of what they're saying, which is not ideal for a walkthrough. So we make it to, this is the mines. Oh no, not this. Yeah, the limited visibility thing, which is in the original games. Now I do have to say I never played the originals. I did play the remakes on the PSP, which just came out just a few months ago. Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles, which were ported from the PC version in Japan, which I think came out around 10 years ago, and they were okay. Yeah, they kinda, I had mixed feelings about them. They just didn't really, something about them didn't feel right. But I still really enjoyed them. I think they were some really good action RPGs. Oath of Felghana, which also was released on the PSP as a port of a PC game, is amazing. If you have a PSP and you kind of want to delve into some action, this is probably the game to get. It's, I would say, my favorite PSP game, because it's really good. So we're kind of stumbling around here. Now on the PSP remake of Ys 1 and 2, they didn't have this limited visibility. They did have them in the original game on the PC Engine, but they didn't have the them in the remakes, which I think is a good thing. Locked. Backtracking, which there was a lot of in Oath of Felghana. So yeah, after I played those 3 games, Ys 1, 2, and 3, which were all remakes on the PSP, I kind of felt like getting into Ys 4. So I think around a week ago, I put the Super Nintendo version on my PSP, on my modded PSP, and gave it a shot, and I was very pleasantly surprised. It's really good. I actually liked it better than the remakes, the original remakes. I don't know why. The graphics are kind of just, I don't know, it has that retro feel, you know what I mean? It's, I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, the reason I'm coming out of the mines and coming back in, just something you're gonna have to do, is because when Adol doesn't, when he doesn't fight, when he just stands and doesn't walk or anything on the outside world, he slowly regenerates hit points, which is nice. However, in the dungeon, it doesn't happen, which is the challenging aspect of it. Yeah, and as a general rule of thumb in these dungeons, there's obviously going to be an end boss, but as a general rule of thumb, when you're taking a massive amount of damage, like I just did, from an enemy hit, you're probably gonna get your ass kicked by the boss. They are very challenging, especially Oath of Fagano. Oath of Fagano, the bosses there were just ridiculous. Yeah, the Super Famicom version of Ys IV, because it was released in Japan and the difficulty is good. It has a good difficulty level for the majority of the game. I would say about 95%, except for the second last boss. The second last boss is a pain in the ass. The last boss, not so much. If you have good reflexes, you can beat him in, I would say, 15 tries. But the second last boss, I could not kill him. The reflexes that you had to possess are just way overboard. I just couldn't go with it, so I ended up doing the save state thing, which not ashamed to say. Considering herb. Considering that Japanese games are generally more require more skill than American ones. Now, if you know RPGs, you're probably aware that Final Fantasy IV or 2 on the Super Nintendo that we got in North America, in Japan, they call it Final Fantasy IV Easy Type, which good stuff. Which is a scaled down version for children. Yeah, for children. And it doesn't have a lot of some skills are missing, like the Dark Knight Cecil. He doesn't have his dark power. They just got rid of it. They thought, you know, because it drains your hit points when you use it. They probably thought to themselves, it's gonna be too complicated for the average American. And there's a lot of examples of Japanese dumbing down the games and kind of not thinking of American gamers in the 90s as very inclined to challenging games. For example, with the PC Engine, which is what we're emulating right now to play this game. The American version, the TurboGrafx 16, doesn't have a region lockout, meaning that you can import the games from Japan, no problem. You can even burn CD games on your system and play them, and use the cue cards from the Japanese version, as long as you have a converter, like a $30 converter that converts the pins to the Japanese version. However, in Japan, they instituted a second chip. Well, not a second chip, a second regional lockout system, which is a chip, which prevents Japanese players from basically importing American games. And the reasoning was, well, at least according to Wikipedia, which I think is really funny, was because they didn't want to pollute the Japanese marketplace with inferior quality of game. In other words, they didn't want Japanese gamers to kind of import American games and say, well, this is too fucking easy, right? So, which I think is kind of funny. So yeah, I won't be using save states exploitation in this walkthrough. At least I hope not. However, if the boss becomes way too difficult, and I'm kind of pressed for time. I don't want to waste a whole weekend for, like, you know, the one perfect chance to beat him. I may end up resorting to it. I haven't decided yet. It's on a case-per-case basis, let's just say. Yeah, not really a big fan of save state gameplay, because, you know, I mean, imagine playing Mega Man with save states. You're not really playing Mega Man, you know. But you know, we don't have all of our lives to get through this one game, and you know, in a way, it's artificial difficulty to extend the length. You know. Oh, boss time! A giant fucking spider, right? Yeah. Yeah. Tim Burton Tim Burton reference. Let's get out of here. It's really nice because you can just leave the boss fights if you're not ready, which I'm not. I'm gonna do some grinding, try to buy up the armor. Yeah, that's at least my goal, probably getting a couple levels. So thanks for watching, guys, and tune to the next.